Didn't pay enough.
Mr. Nixon, we touched on some aspects of your personal life. I'd like to spend this period in discussing it just a bit more. I talked today with one of the men who had worked for you and had gone to jail as a result of Watergate. And I asked him if he could ask you one question, what would it be? And this was it. He said that many men went to jail as a result of Watergate, and you did not. He asked if you feel any responsibility for these men today, and although he had never heard from you himself, have you contacted any of the others to express your concern?
Well, I've contacted, I think, a considerable number of those who had to go to prison because of the Watergate thing. And I must say that I feel a very deep responsibility to them. I knew their families. I was concerned about them. And what specific ones would you like to know about?
Well, the man who gave me this question was John Ehrlichman.
I haven't contacted Ehrlichman. I have felt that he probably would not really appreciate being contacted. But, for example, Haldeman, Mitchell, Chapin, Kalmbach.
You've been in touch with all of them?
Oh, yes, sure. I've seen them all, yes. And I correspond with them regularly, sure.
There are people, Mr. Nixon, who resent the fact that we are giving you airtime tonight because they feel that while holding the highest office of the land, you let them down terribly. They resent the fact that after all of this, you have enough personal money to buy a $750,000 townhouse, that you have a 16-room office that rents for $66,000 a year. I'm sure you've read all of this in the paper, and people have talked about this, as well as Secret Service men paid for by the taxpayers, and that you also have a pension of $66,000 a year just from the presidency, and all this makes them angry. How do you answer these people, Mr. Nixon?
I can understand their anger.
That's it?
Yes, that's the answer.
Do you feel that you have anything to apologize for?
No, for what I have earned? Not at all. No, I must say that as far as what I own at the present time, I worked hard for it. I did very well on my book, my first one. And from that, I was able, of course, to make payments on my house. I sold my house in California for a good profit. I sold my house in Florida for a good profit. I put that into my place in New York, but everything I have, I've earned. Nobody has given me anything. I haven't inherited anything. No, I'm not a bit ashamed of that. What else is your question?
I wonder how people react to you when they see you on the streets now that you've moved to New York. Do you feel this anger? Do they ignore you? Do they come up and say, how are things? What is it like for you?
Well, they're very friendly. You know, New York's that kind of a town. Any town that'll support the Mets is always for an underdog.
So you feel good about being here?
Oh, yes.